This is John Ward, welcoming you to another presentation of Tennessee football on home video. The story you're about to see unfold is one of adventure and achievement. It's the story of teamwork, commitment, and the will to win.
Doesn't need a lot of... Oh! He took a weapon!
Yes, sir. What's going on, Vol fans? What's going on? I see Jerry Gibson is in the chat. Yes, sir. Hey, big win today. Absolutely love it. And you know what? This one is just mostly just going to be about, y'all voice y'all's thoughts, and me and P will kind of bring up some topics, and y'all just add into the conversation, man. We want to hear what y'all have to say. We promised y'all this from the last stream that we did. We had a few technical difficulties, but got it all ironed out. So, man, you know what? I forgot what we said. I think I said 56-14. What'd you say the score was going to be?
I said 52-17.
52-17. Okay, so you was actually closer. So, well, I'll just say this first and foremost. I feel like we left a whole lot of points out there. We definitely could have scored way more. Definitely. We started to throttle it down. It seems like in the fourth quarter, I mean, it was just like, we're going to pretty much run the ball on first down all the time. And, which I think that we did a good job of that. I don't have the stats, none of that stuff. I haven't watched film, obviously, game just ended. But based off of what you just saw, what you think, P?
So I did look up the stats right before we got on here. And we rushed for 238. Which I think we've been averaging about 230 a game, and so went out there, we rushed, which was one of the big keys coming to the game. I think for us was, can we run the football? Can we control the line of scrimmage? And I think we did that for the most part, man. Went out there, Jalen Wright went for over 100 yards once again. I think he averaged 7 points something yards a carry. So he's still, I think he's still leading the conference in yards per carry. Had great success in the run game. I think Joe Milton looked good. I don't think he had any really bad throws besides the 2 picks that he threw, which, you hate that. But, but those really probably his only 2 bad throws. I think he was pretty accurate for the most part. Had a few drops from receivers. But, I mean, overall, man, the O-line held up pretty well in pass protection, opened up some lanes. Overall, a solid game. To me, I think the biggest takeaway is the defense. I think the defense played just like we want to see them play, man. They were flying around. They just seemed inspired today. I think we're talking about that during the game. Like, it seems like they actually care today. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't just lackadaisical, slowly getting to the ball. They were flying around, playing with their hair on fire. I think we had them. I think we held them to like 2 of 14 on third down, I think I saw. So, very impressed with the defense. I think Tim Banks had a good scheme dialed up, and he's got to play tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So number one thing, obviously, with Cooper Mays being back, we see that offensive line looks tremendously better. Kind of to your points, man. I mean, it's such a huge difference having him back, and you could tell he was getting gassed. He was getting tired, but he was fighting through it. He was just an absolute trooper. So super proud of that entire offensive line. We did have a little bit of pressure, but it was nothing like what we saw in previous games. Talked about our, rushing game. I think that, we talked about this maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it was after that Florida game. Jalen Wright, still right now, he's running back number 1, but Dylan Sampson has got to be running back number 2. I mean, I don't think that there's any question about that. That dude is balling. Absolutely.
He's a dude. Yeah, he's a dude, man. Every time he gets the ball, he's making big plays, man. I love the way that kid runs. He just has a feel for the game. He has a feel for space, can make guys miss, and he has breakaway speed. He's a track guy in high school, so when he gets open space, man, he's tough to stop.
Yeah, he is. I'm gonna get to some of these chats. So we already talked about Jerry Gibson saying, "Let's go Big Orange." And Yo Mama Fool says thought defense was absolutely on point most of the game. Joe throwing those 2 interceptions changed the course of the game for sure. Could have easily been another 10 to 14 points. And you are exactly right. We left a lot of meat out there. It was a whole lot more points. And, I think that was classy, though, of Coach Hype to just kind of say, hey, you know what, we're not going to run it up too much on these guys. But obviously, us as Tennessee fans, us as the fan base, if we could have ran it up, if we was going to play, I mean, Whole bunch more shots would have been coming.
Yeah.
And Jerry Gibson right here, he says, "What about Haddon pick 6? I was proud of him tonight."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. You know what, Haddon? You know, this is something else. We've been talking about this. Haddon has been playing well. You know, I know people kind of get on him, but I think that most of that is just because a lot of times people don't realize what the scheme is or like what's actually going on. So it may look like Haddon's the one making those tackles, and you think, "Oh, this is on Haddon." A lot of times it's because of the coverage, and it's not really Haddon's guy, right? So Haddon, I think that he's graded out as the best cornerback that we have in coverage and like everything else. So
Yeah.
he played very well. I mean, man, and seeing him getting that pick 6, bro. Oh my God.
That's huge, man.
That was so big. So excited about it.
Yeah, I was in here by myself watching it when it happened. I was going crazy at the screen. I love to see that. But you know, to talk about the defense too, that's one of our keys to the game. We talked about when we did the live stream the other day.
Yeah.
Is Spencer Rattler, his completion percentage, one of the padlock stats. Is it going to be below 70%? I don't know what the percentage was, but he was 21 of 31. So I don't know what that percentage is.
That's below 70.
Yeah, that's definitely below 70. That's around the 60 range or so, something like that. So, you know, that was a huge key to the game, I think. In the defense, I mean, how many sacks did we get? What, 5, 6 sacks in that?
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, it was like 6 or 7. It was something like that. So, you know what? Seeing Elijah Simmons coming back out there today,
man, I forgot all about him.
Oh my goodness! And nobody knew that he was coming. It was just like he was just out there. But that was
a nice little surprise.
Yeah, that was a great surprise, man. Like that was something, you know, obviously we had been talking about our tackles, and it's like, well, we got to find somebody else. You know, we don't know when Simmons is coming back, but obviously having him back now, bro, I think that this defense, I think that this entire team, we look really good. We look real good, especially not to go too far off topic, but if you watch Georgia versus Auburn today, you see that they are what we thought that they were. I mean, they didn't put up this many points on South Carolina, and I think South Carolina is better now than they were then. And Georgia played them at home too. I mean, if we come out inspired like we did today, and it's going to be really interesting to see what we find out, you know, maybe like tomorrow or, you know, throughout this week on who spoke to the team. We know that the 98 team was there. Al Wilson was there with Coach Farmer. Did they come out there and talk to him? Sometimes that's all it takes, man. Just bring some dogs out, bring some of that championship pedigree out, and everybody.
I think that definitely factored in, man. Anytime a guy that got like Big Al in the building, come get your team fired up before the game. I mean, you know, that's going to get the juices flowing. But something else we talked about too is, you know, I mean, we truly are a better team at home. You know, when we're at home, we're a completely different team, and I think we're going to be tough for anybody to be at home. You know, we got to go on the road to play Bama, but, you know, hey, we got them dogs coming into town. I think that one is going to be probably a similar score to this game. I think, you know, we're going to be able to do it to those guys too. But, man, I'm super pleased with how the defense played in the offense as well. You know, I think Joe Milton played well. Wish we could have scored more points. You know what I mean? Hate that touchdown by D. Williams on that punt return got called back. I haven't heard what the call was. I don't know what the call was, but
it was like a block in the back, and it was a terrible call. I don't think that block really had anything to do with the actual play. So, but I can understand why they called it. You know what I mean? This is like one of those, like, it was kind of like borderline, but I mean, we were way more dominant than what the scoreboard showed. You know what I mean? We absolutely dominated. I'm gonna get into another super chat right here. We was talking about this for a while. So this right here is from Yo Mama Fool. Again, saying that also feel so bad for Brew. I think this was his last year. Haddon and the rest of the secondary was great too. So just to get into Brew, man, as soon as he went down, I was like, get up, Brew, get up, you know, but not like in a get up. You know, I'm like, get up, come on, like, please get up. And then I just saw him like look over at his leg, and I see him like, oh no, like he's hurt, like he's really hurt. And you know, me and you, we just kept talking about that. So just to let y'all know, I was at my nephew Braylon's game filming, but I was also obviously watching us play, and so I was calling P. You know, like we're calling back and forth, just talking about the updates to the Tennessee game. And you know, after that Brew thing happened, you never want to see anybody get injured, period, especially not on your own team. But even with that being said, it's like he's the last person that you would want to see that happen to. I mean, you want to talk about the absolute pedigree of what you want in a in a volunteer period, as a teammate, as a fan, as a coach. I mean, you can tell that he cares. He's a dog. He plays so hard, gives everything that he has for Tennessee on every single snap. And, he's just such a good guy. P, you was talking about he's got something to help, like with heart monitors or something, every time.
The NIL deal. I'm not sure who it's with. Some hospital where every touchdown he scores, they're going to donate a free, I believe it's a free defibrillator, I believe.
Yeah. Man, I mean, he's just a class act. And I mean, obviously seeing him go down, I mean, that's so heartbreaking. And this was probably going to be his last season here. I don't know how much eligibility he has left. We were kind of going back and forth on that. I haven't looked it up yet, but he may have one more year. But I mean, he's worked so hard. It's like, man, like you want to see, like you don't want to see him leave because obviously he's such like we love him here, right? Like we don't want him to leave. But we always want for our guys to do well. And like we know that at some point they do have to leave. So, this was going to be his final season here. And, just expecting for him to have such a big year. You can go back to the Bama game last year. And P, you talk about this all the time. He had to catch early in that game and he had to catch late in that game. And those might have been the two biggest catches of the entire game. And that just catapulted us, and just took us to a whole nother level. So, we was talking about it. It just kind of feels like somebody passed away. You know what I mean? Like that's really how it feels.
It really does. Yeah, it's tough, man. I watched it live. Brew's a guy. He always pops right up. So I saw instantly whenever he laid down, I immediately saw the leg, and I was like, man, it broke my heart, man. It was tough for me to even get too hyped the rest of the game. Like it was just like you said, man. It felt like somebody passed away. I mean, you talk about a guy. I mean, you can watch him any play. Go back, watch any game this season, pick any random play, and go watch Brew McCoy from snap to whistle. And I'll be willing to bet my bottom dollar that he's playing the game exactly the right way, whether he's blocking, whether he's just running a route, or he's catching a pass, whatever he's doing, he's giving his all for Tennessee. And, to see a guy like that go down, man, I mean, it breaks your absolute heart, man. Like, I mean, it still hurt. We were talking about earlier, man. Like, it's going to take several weeks, maybe the whole season for me to get over it. Like, I mean, like it truly is weighing on me. Hopefully he'll bounce back. Hopefully, MRIs come back, whatever. Maybe it's just a dislocation, and maybe they pop back in place, and maybe he's ready to go. But that's like you said, man. That's one you don't want to lose because he played again the right way. Yeah. And we're truly going to miss him out there in that field.
Absolutely. So I'm going to get into some more of the chats. We've got Big Vol Daddy says, what's up, Blue Chip? Love your stuff, brother. Hey, Big Vol Daddy, thank you so much. You have been very consistent on this channel. And, we absolutely love to see people, I mean, just sharing your thoughts, commenting, liking our stuff. That helps us out so much. But, you are a big part of this channel as well. We've got another one from Big Vol Daddy. He says, I can't hear you because I'm on someone else's live. We need to collab soon, my man. Yeah, man, listen, I would absolutely love to. I've watched your stuff, for quite some time now. So for sure, anytime, any place, anywhere, definitely happy to do it. And now let's get into Jerry Gibson. He says, go Vols, BVD. All right. So he already knows about Big Vol Daddy. Deborah P says Georgia and LSU aren't invincible. Yeah. Well, listen, at least I did. I knew. I think both of us picked LSU to lose, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. Brian Kelly is just not that good of a coach. The teams that he had up there at Notre Dame, he should have been, he should have had more national championship berths. And he should have at least won one. So now he's going to LSU, and you see they're kind of going backwards. So I don't think that he lasts there long. Not worried about them. They're not going to win the West. I think Bama comes out of the West. We're going to see them. We're going to see them before the SEC championship. So can we beat them twice? That's what I'm thinking right now. And then Georgia is Georgia, man. Like Georgia, we talked about this since the start of the season. Mike Bobo is not a good offensive coordinator. And, it's very easy to be able to scheme up a game plan whenever you know what the other team is doing. You can call his plays from a mile away. I was sitting down watching the game with my nephew who is he's in 8th grade, and my other nephew who's 6. And they're able to they're like, oh, this is probably what it's going to be. And 9 times out of 10, they were right. So if they can do it, what do you think, people who've been looking at football for 20, 30 years are going to do? Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about it at all.
We've been calling all year, man. As soon as they play teams with pulse, I mean, they're in trouble. I don't know when they play Ole Miss, but watch out for that one. Watch out for Kentucky. Watch out for Mizzou. And, of course, when they come to Neyland, they better have the chin strap buckled up tight on that one.
Man, look, I'm going to tell you. So what Georgia scored against South Carolina this season in Athens was 24-14. Ours was, 40-20 or 41-20? Was that the final?
41.
41-20? Listen.
Yeah.
And Georgia's game was a lot closer than ours was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a lot closer.
Yeah.
We dominated that game. I mean, dominated. I want to look up those stats, and we'll probably have something to put together at some point this week, talking about all that good stuff. But yeah, that's an excellent point, Deborah. And hey, thank you too. Thank y'all to everybody who's in here, man, because y'all are all very consistent, and we just really, really appreciate y'all. Now let's get back to Yo Mama Fool. It says I was 100% for Joe Milton preseason and even defended him during the first 2 games, but I'm starting to believe he isn't up to par. I know Nico wouldn't be the answer just yet. So that's a really interesting point. So P, let's talk about this for just a second. So we just talked about Brew getting hurt, right? And if you've ever played sports, or I mean, if you're anybody really, like, that whenever you see someone get injured, if it's a serious injury, especially if it's someone that it can kind of throw you off. But if you play a sport like football where injuries are I don't want to call them commonplace, but they pretty much are. Like, it's part of the game. You're hurting, right? Your heart hurts for your teammate, but at the same time, you still have to finish out that game. You cannot dwell on that, and you cannot let injuries or someone getting hurt in any way, shape, form, or fashion slow you down from playing how you're supposed to play. And it did look like immediately after Brew got hurt, it looked like Joe Milton was just rattled, and those types of things worry me with him. We'll go back and we'll look at the stats, but I'm willing to bet you, like, those next 2 or 3 series, he may have only completed like 1 pass.
Yeah.
There was a time when he stood in the pocket for 4 or 5 seconds. I mean, it was great pass blocking, and it was like he was just scared. Like, it's like he just froze. Those types of things worry you with Milton. And, I hate to bring that up after a win, but it is true. Pete, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree, man. He was definitely affected by that injury. Seemed like right after, so he saw the injury. He saw Brew on the ground. He could see, everybody could see his leg, and it looked like they flashed to Milton, where he was, kind of praying or whatever. And I mean, I know it hurt him. I know it's a guy. It's just like, if me and you were on the field and I saw something like that happen to you, it's going to affect. It's going to impact. It probably would impact me as much as I don't want to admit it. It probably would impact me for at least a few plays. And I think we saw that with Milton, man. It has impacted him, and he kind of froze up a little bit. But I think overall, I think that he played well. Like I said, I think he had 2 bad throws. That both of them were picks, unfortunately. And that's probably another thing or 2 here and there. Maybe he held the ball too long and took a bad sack. A couple of things, but I think overall he played well. And if he plays that way, I think we can win with the level of play he gave us tonight. I don't think he was an issue at all.
Yeah. I would say that too. I was happy to see him kind of scamper once or twice. That's always good to see. Just to see him using his legs. And whenever I said what I said, I don't want for y'all to take this wrong. I'm not trying to be some a-hole whenever I'm saying that, but it is very true. Football is a very violent game, and sometimes your best friends, your brothers, are going to go down, but you have got to continue to play well. And that's all that I'm saying, is that seems like little thing, or that's not a little thing, but it seems like things can rattle him. And that is a little bit concerning for me. Y'all let us know what y'all think in the chat, but I've got to get to this one real quick. My man Timmy G letting us know this is big, man. He says beer is on me tonight. Having Cooper back was huge for the O-line. He played great with the $50.
Appreciate that, Timmy G.
Hey, Timmy
yes,
G,
sir.
appreciate that. We gotta play this for you. Appreciate that, Timmy G. You already know, man. That's huge, but you are exactly right. Having Coop back was big. We just talked about that earlier, and man, defense played lights out. I would like to talk more about that defense, because. So we were like, well, shoot, we need to bring a whole lot of pressure. We didn't dial up a whole lot of pressure. I think we dialed up more than what we have in this season, but a lot of times we was able to get home with just our front four.
Man, James Pierce
is a dog.
He's a dog. He's true. He's certified today. He's certified, man. He's true.
Yeah.
What do you have, like 3 or 4 sacks? I mean, gosh.
Yeah. He did. I think that Tyler Barron played well. I think that Roman Harrison had a sack too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's huge. And I'll tell you what, nobody talking about is, and we're getting held every play. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, those referees were horrible. I don't even want to get into that. The referees were absolutely trash. SEC has a big problem with the refs. I don't know where they got, and it looks like these guys are new too. I haven't seen these guys before.
Yeah, that's true. They are new guys.
Yeah, they're not good. So something needs to be done about that. I'm gonna get into some more of these chats real quick because this one is all about these subscribers. Yo Mama Fool says, but letting more get snaps, I think would be beneficial. Yeah. So Gaston Moore, I would like to see us give Nico some more snaps and Gaston Moore. If we're gonna do something like what we did today, and we're gonna pretty much just try to milk the clock, then why not give him snaps? I don't understand why have your best quarterback out there, in a situation where, again, this is a violent game, bad things can happen. Get him off the field if that's how you want to play. If he's not out there to go out and ball, if he's out there pretty much spectating, put somebody else in. You know what I mean? Like, let them just get out there and get acclimated to it. But Pete, what do you think about Gaston?
Man, I think he's the guy. If he's ever called upon, I think he'll be serviceable. We're gonna have to rely on the run game, but he's not a guy that where I would worry and say, oh, he's going to cost us the game. I think that he'll be the prototypical, game manager. I think he can run this offense at a high level. He can get the tempo going, and he can make some accurate passes, make the good, the right reads. I fully trust all those quarterbacks that Heupel's coaching up. I trust any of those guys coming in here and be able to play and operate the offense. If he ever is called upon, I'm not too worried about there being a huge drop off from Joe, honestly.
Yeah, no, I don't. Well, I think that there will be some sort of a drop off, but I think, well, maybe not necessarily a drop off, but I think that the play calling will be different because Gaston Moore doesn't have that rocket arm, but I think that he probably knows the offense better than any player on that team. So he's almost like a player coach, right?
Yeah.
And I think that he's probably going to be a GA, and he's looking into coaching. So, I think that he can operate our offense well, but maybe not as high flying as what it would be with Joe Milton or with Nico. Now, Nico, I don't know. I don't want to create any controversy after such a big win, but I'm curious as to why they're not playing him more. In games where we're blowing teams out, I don't understand it. I kind of feel like maybe it's just because I don't know, like they don't want to create any controversy amongst the fans because we've already been kind of calling for them. I don't know. Tell us what y'all think down in the chat. But yeah, I would definitely love to see a lot more of them. But we are in a great position where we've got two very, I think, viable backups. So, hey, man. And now that the offensive line is looking how it's looking, we had a whole lot of people get banged up. I saw Dane Davis. I think Jackson Lampley looked like he was banged up, but
yeah.
Hopefully they're going to be fine. But if the offensive line continues to play how they play today, yeah, this team can go really far. I'm going to get into some more chats right here. Smokey Payton says, we beating Bama. You got that right, man. I feel a lot more confident now, P. I don't know how you're feeling, but going down to Tuscaloosa now doesn't seem like as much of a task as it did early on in the season. Seeing how Bama's been looking and then seeing how we just look tonight.
Yeah, I feel good about it. Like I said, my only concern is still, the playing on the road issue. We seem to not do well on the road.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have another road game before we play Bama. So, I mean, we really won't know till we get there. But I think Heupel's first year we went there on the road. And I mean, heck, we took those guys to the fourth quarter with a far inferior roster. So
Yeah.
hopefully, he'll be ready to go out there and give them hell again.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to read off a few more chats. So Kevin Thompson says, I think the defense won the game for us. Yeah, I mean, the defense played lights out. Now, we did give up that one big run. Was that in the third quarter, that 175-yard run?
Yeah, third quarter. I think it was their first drive, I think.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's not great. But good news is it does look like our linebackers played a lot better in this game than they have in previous games. Heron looked way better. I don't know what happened. We already know what Aaron Beasley does. Arion Carter, he looked good. And then Jeremiah Telander. Man, I mean, he is such a dog too. He's another guy. We were talking about this last week. He's got to get a lot more reps. Like, we got to get him out there more.
Yeah.
I think that part of the reason that we don't see some of these younger guys more is because coaches don't necessarily trust them. Especially, like with him and I would say maybe even Arion. Arion plays a pretty solid amount, but we can even go to the secondary. Some of those guys, I think that they're physically ready, but they just haven't had those game reps to be able to know how to move. Like, there's a different game speed that you just can't, you can't practice that. You know what I mean? like, even if you scrimmage, game speed, it's just different, right? I mean, maybe I'm off when I'm saying this, but it just seems like it's just different. So I'm saying all that just to say, the only way that we'll get these guys up to speed is just by playing them more. So this was a great game. I'm happy we was able to get up enough where we felt comfortable to kind of play some of those guys. But I mean, I was very, very happy with what I saw off of the first go around watching this football game with our linebackers, with our entire defense. Again, we can go back to Haddon, pick six, huge defensive line. Our front four played tremendous. I mean, run stopping, staying inside of the passing lanes, keeping Spencer Rattler inside of the pocket for the most part. I mean, I'm very, very, very proud of this team, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know, what level of defense I was most impressed with. Whether it was the front four, the linebackers, or the secondary. I think all three levels we played super well, man. You see them, trying to do those crossing routes, or try to do some stuff to the flats. We're flying downhill, making tackles close to the line of scrimmage. We talked about third downs. I mean, they had some third and shorts pretty often in the game. And they would complete a pass. We come up and tackle them short of the sticks. I mean, we played great, man. I just hope we can see that defense every freaking week from these guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we saw this defense every week throughout this season, we would have killed Florida. That's another team. We talked about them last week. Florida is not a good team. I don't know what happened in that game, but that's something that we'll all look back on. The entire country's going to look back on and say, how did this happen? It was one of those crazy fluky deals. Florida, I think that the only other SEC team that Florida's going to beat is going to be probably maybe Vandy. And outside of that, I don't see them beating anybody else. But, we didn't wrap up well in that game. It's just night and day. I mean, I think that our front four played decent against Florida, but tonight they played incredible. Again, second level linebackers, they played great. Safeties, open field tackles, up by the line of scrimmage. How many times did we see South Carolina have to dump the ball off to the flats? And we know, people got to come up, rally, and tackle. And you get that little nervous feeling, right? Like, are they going to be able to do it? And, I mean, we executed beautifully. I don't know where this came from, but we've got to continue whatever trend we did today and just keep this thing going, man, for sure. That's probably part of it, sure. And now Timmy G also says Pierce was lights out, the left side guard of South Carolina long night. Yes, he absolutely did. He's talking about the left tackle. Yeah. So I'm proud of us. And I mean, he was beating guys like off the snap quick, real quick. And that's really, really high level. I think that James Pierce is probably the best pass rusher in this league right now. He definitely has the most sacks, but I think that he's the best overall. Do you know if he's a true sophomore? Or is he
sophomore? Him and Josh Joseph, same class. So,
Man, hopefully Joshua Josephs is okay. We did see him go out. And now Deborah P says Squirrel had a great night too. He really got things going. Man, you know what? This is the thing about Squirrel, and this is something else that we've talked about several times. Squirrel is just a dog. I mean, just straight up, you know. And I'm happy to see him doing well. I don't know what's going on with Dante Thornton. Looked like he was what, in like shorts or something today?
Yeah, he had on a hoodie. I was like,
yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully he's okay. Again, Josh Heupel doesn't give us all the details on that stuff, but yeah, I mean, Squirrel White, as far as I'm concerned, in that slot position, that is his. That's 100% his. And whenever he needs to spell, it needs to be Dante Thornton. Or maybe Dante. I wasn't very pleased with what Chaz Nimrod did today. He had a drop. I think I missed a catch that he had at some point in the game.
Oh, yeah, I missed it too. I didn't see a catch yet.
Okay.
But I mean, heck, how about that catch by Squirrel? That deep ball where the guy's holding his face mask and he freaking.
Oh yeah. We got
unreal.
See, yeah. So again, that's kind of like back to the refs being terrible. How do you miss? I mean, he gets like the cornerback literally puts his hand all up in Squirrel's face in his face mask, and there's no call. That was a great throw by Milton. It was a great job blocking by that front, and that was a great catch by Squirrel. And I think that he's a guy that we need to just throw it up to more. Especially not to bring this back up, especially with Brew being down.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna, we have to have somebody that we can throw it up to. Keaton, he played well. I think he had 2 or 3 catches. But obviously, and also with Webb, I want to see more of him.
Yeah.
Now
I think he played well.
Yeah,
coming in for Brew. I think he played well. He showed up. He had a few catches.
Yeah. Yeah. So now with Brew being down, I think it's time for Nathan Leacock to step up. I think that it's going to be his opportunity. He's going to get more reps in practice for sure. So hopefully he can kind of come into his own as a freshman, and and be able to give this team something at some point in this season. I'm sure.
Yeah, they showed him on the sideline. He's a big old boy now.
Yeah.
He's big.
Yeah. So I missed that, but what, 6'4"? He's probably about 215.
Yeah, he's about 215.
What do he look like?
Yeah, he looks like he's probably about 6'4", 6'3.5". Yeah, he's like a Cedric Tillman out there. He's but like a little bit thicker. I mean, he's a big boy.
Yeah. He's a dog too. And Timmy G says Squirrel's a dog for sure. Timmy G also says he leads in sacks. How many does he have now? I think he had 3 tonight. That's a really good question. So
no
I want to say he's I think it's talking about James Pierce, right? I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it's like 7 or 8.
Yeah, I want to say 7. Yeah, 7 or 8.
7 or 8.
I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Because he had, I mean, I know he had. What do you have? Do you have 2 or do you have 4 in the first game? Can't remember. I think he had 2 in the first game.
I wanted to say he had 4. I don't know why.
Yeah, maybe he did. If he had 4, yeah, he might have. I know he's had at least 1 every game, except maybe the Florida game.
Yeah, I think that was the only one that he didn't have a sack in. But Florida was throwing the ball quick, and we knew that anytime that we can get up on teams and they have to pass it. I mean, well, anybody, right? We know that we'll be able to get time to get to the quarterback. Mm-hmm. That's all that we've been missing these past couple of weeks. And I've heard this on different shows, people talking about like what happened to our pass rush. Is our defensive front as good as we thought it was? It is, but you have to understand that whenever you show one way really far on the spectrum, teams are going to go in the opposite and try to like counter it to balance it out. So because we're able to get to the quarterback so fast, we knew that there's going to be 3-step drops all day. And it's hard to get to the quarterback, in SEC play, in college, in football, period. And, like 3 steps, which is like 1 second. It's like 1.5 seconds. That's really hard to do. But James Pierce is the type of a talent who can do it. So hopefully he will continue to get better. Again, I hope that Joshua Josephs is healthy. You're going to need him throughout this season. Getting Simmons back is definitely huge. Big O played well. Omar Norman Lots, he's just a dog.
He's no one went down. He went down too.
Yeah, hopefully he is okay. It kind of looked like he got the wind knocked out of him, or maybe he got hit, in the balls or something. It was something like that, right? But, hopefully he's okay. So as long as we can keep on, just rotating guys. We also saw last week, Caleb Herring, he got a sack. So, he's another one. I mean, we've got so many guys. Haven't seen a whole lot of David Hobbs yet, but David Hobbs, he's another guy who can get after the passer. So.
Yeah.
We've got some dudes, man, who can get after that quarterback. And I just hope that we can continue to keep up that pressure, keep on dialing them up.
And, I was going to say real quick, hey, let's not forget this is a pretty big recruiting weekend too. We had Daniel Hill, big time running back, considering South Carolina and Bama. Hopefully we turn some heads, and of course Big Seaton, the big old tackle at IMG was in the house. So hopefully we made a good impression on those guys.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm sure that we did. So I don't know. Everybody in the chat, let us know. Did you watch the game in Neyland? Was you on campus? Did you watch it on TV? Watching it on TV, you could hear that crowd. And anytime you can hear them like the way that you could hear them on TV today, you know that it was loud. So I would like to see what the decibel thing was today. But I know that they had a great time. I've heard that Seaton is already silently told the coaches that he's coming here. Also heard that Boo Carter went up to Colorado specifically just to target Seaton. That's the kind of stuff that you love to see. You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff that really makes you, love somebody. That really makes you love a guy. And we love all of our guys, but that's giving your all for Tennessee, right?
Yes.
So, super, super proud of that, and super happy to hear about that. But it sounds like Seaton's probably already in the bag. P, what do you think? Do you think that maybe we just opened up, some more money to these guys because we saw that our offensive line wasn't doing great? Or I mean, like, what do you think changed? Because Seaton wasn't really eyeing us too heavily.
Yeah, I mean that's what it felt like to me when I saw that he canceled his visit to Oklahoma and decided to come to that game. Like my first thought was, hey, we must offer him that NIL or something. I mean, I don't know, something. I mean, just for him, because I mean, I wasn't following his recruitment, but I don't know if we were even really on his radar. But just kind of out of nowhere, all of a sudden he's coming down for a visit. So to me, it screams NIL. But I mean, I don't know. But heck, if we are opening up the pocketbook, it's about daggum time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I was just about to get to that. What took us so long? Like, I feel like front seven guys, you need to get a few in every single class. You need to have some money allocated for that. And I know that people love the big splash skill player guys, which is cool. But you have to understand that with an excellent front seven, the skill guys are a dime a dozen. You can find those almost anywhere. It's not that hard to be able to run a route and go and get open whenever you're pretty much running on air because you've been running the route for 5 seconds because you've got a great offensive line. Or to be able to, get 5-7 yards on a carry because the hole is, 10 yards wide because you've got a great offensive line. So same thing goes for the secondary whenever you're talking about, defense. Those things kind of go hand in hand. It's probably not as much on defense, but offense for sure. So hopefully we can land them, man. Hopefully we get some good news at some point this week. I don't know what his timetable is, but yeah, I mean, we definitely need him. Adding him to the class that we already have probably would be the best offensive line class in this country.
Yeah, look at him, Brandon Warren, Satterwhite,
man, shoot,
Gabe Genter. Yeah, I mean they got a bunch of guys.
Yeah, man.
That's probably 5 impact guys. They may not all be year one guys, but I think during their time at Tennessee, they're going to be guys that we're gonna miss them when they're gone. Put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm gonna get into some more chats. Let me see here. Deborah P says someone said Dante got hurt in practice. Okay. Well, thank you so much for letting us know that, Deborah. I would like to know. I wonder if anybody in the chat knows exactly what's going on with him. Is he injured? Is it, is he kind of like banged up? Because, I mean, we do need him throughout the season. So that'll be interesting to kind of hear. I mean, we know that Coach Heupel is not going to tell us too much. And hey, look, I'm not saying that like I'm mad at him because keep on doing that. That's giving us an edge. Simply Tommy 80 says our defense was fire tonight. Yes, Tommy, defense was unbelievable. He also says word on Beasley. And then he's saying right here at home on cable. Okay, he's talking about where he watched the game at. Whenever you're saying word on Beasley, simply Tommy, let me know. Did I miss something? Did he go down?
I remember him going down. I do remember there was a couple of times when it was Aaron Carter and T-Lander out there.
Yeah.
But I don't remember Beasley. I don't remember him getting hurt or anything like that. I don't know.
Okay. All right. I was just making sure that I didn't miss something. I might have misread what he said right there. All right. So Timmy G says, yeah, good night on both sides of the ball was great for a big recruiting weekend. Yes, it was. Super proud of everybody involved. Wish we could have been there. I think that we're probably going to be on campus for that Georgia game, man. We're working on doing like a tailgate and a whole bunch of stuff. So stay tuned for that. Simply Tommy 80 says, I think letting Nico play a series at the end would have helped recruiting a little bit more. I agree with you a lot on that. That's something that's been talked about on a pretty consistent basis. People are saying, well, can Tennessee continue to get quarterbacks in, with such a high caliber prospect like Nico? And I think that showing that a lot of people are playing would make guys look at us a little bit harder, because Nico is going to be our next guy and he's going to be an absolute stud. But at the same time, we've got Jake Merklinger after him. But we need to have more. I think that we need to have probably 3 scholarship quarterbacks. And, obviously, we want to have guys that fit into the system and that are ballers. So let's let some of these younger guys play more, and that's going to help out. And it's not just with quarterback, but it's at every single position. Let me see the next one here. Timmy G says we are going to need some young guys on the O-line next year for sure. Yeah, so we've actually got – I think that the 23 class was pretty solid. And P, you tell me if if I'm off base here, but I really like Aiden Bustle, Shamarad Umarov, Bison Lang. I don't know if Trevor Duncan, I think he's playing defense, but I think that he was the both sides of the ball guy. I'm missing somebody in that class.
Yeah, it was who was it? I can't think. Yeah, it's one more guy, but I think he's more of a developmental guy. The guy I think about, I can't think of who it is.
Yeah,
but, we
go ahead.
I was gonna say, we definitely got some talent in that class. 3 guys you named, and then of course, Aston Nichols in the 22 class. We're still high on him, and then factor in with the guys we got coming in for the 24 for the 23 class. We got some talent, but we're gonna be young, and O-line's definitely a position you want experience. So it definitely gonna be some growing pains. I think probably will still have to rely on the portal. I think for next season, but we'll kind of cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I know that we can't tamper, but I'm not against kind of bending the rules just to taste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure that we've got a list of offensive linemen and probably of defensive tackles, that look good. And where you really want to find them at is in the like AA or D2, D3. Like you want to try to find guys that are going to be coming up a level, because usually if they're making a lateral move, they're making that move for some reason, like whatever school they're at. There's something wrong there. 9 times out of 10. Now you can hit a home run every now and then, like we did with Omar Norman Lott, who I did not think was going to play nearly as well as what he's been doing, but he's been playing well. So, I think that John Campbell's been playing pretty good, but to your point, P, we definitely are going to need to go to the transfer portal to get some more offensive linemen for next season. And now Deborah P says at home, a YouTube stream took 4 different channels to see the game. YouTube will shut one down and another one will pop up. You know what? Yeah, I was about to ask you what stream are you using? Because sometimes, man, so whenever I was out at my nephew's game today, I was having some trouble with the stream that I was using, but I was using ESPN stream, and for some reason it was taking forever to get loaded up. So if y'all ever have any inside information on that type of stuff, let us know, because we be out moving around, and of course we want to watch our Vols, and that's real Vols shit right there, Deborah. Let's get into simply Tommy Eddie says, wasn't he hurt? I'm not sure he's talking about. It says he collapsed on the field. Are you talking about Beasley?
Yeah, he's the one that had to comment about Beasley.
Yeah, which Beasley are you talking about? Are you talking about Aaron Beasley? Oh wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the only one. I'm getting him confused with Barron. I don't know why. The whole time, whenever he was talking, I was thinking about Tyler Barron. Okay, so Aaron Beasley. Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I missed that. I'm trying to think. I
I
remember
did
him
see his helmet
collapsing.
come off. I did see his helmet come off, and I did see him walk over to the sidelines. But I thought that he played after that. I might be wrong. And he's saying that Gaston has one more year. Now let's see what Timmy G says right here. He says Bison will probably be starting center next year if he can pick it up. Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do. And you know, Bison's he's a big old boy, man. What is he, like 6'6", 330 or something like that? He's a really big dude.
I don't know if he's that tall, but he's definitely like 6'3", 320 or something like that.
Is he only 6'3"? I thought it was a lot taller now. I thought it was like 6'5".
Oh, he might be. He might be. He might be. He was standing next to somebody today, and he looked big. Who next to whoever he was standing next to, so he might be that tall.
Yeah, he's big, and he's a dog. You know, I love what they did in that 23 class. I love what they're doing in this 24 class. We've got a whole lot of dogs, man. But yeah, I would definitely say so. Tommy G, he probably will be our starting center for next season, unless one of Addison Nichols or somebody else steps up. And then also too, I think that in the 24 class, Satterwhite will be our new guard after Bison Lang. And Satterwhite puts me in mind of Cooper Mays by the way that he plays and how quick he is, how mean he is. But he's bigger right now. He's bigger now than what Cooper was whenever Cooper came out of high school. So I think that the staff is doing a really, really good job of looking long term and just finding some good pieces. Timmy G also says Lott has been amazing so far this season. I use YouTube TV. Yeah, we were watching the games on YouTube TV earlier. Simply Tommy 80 says, yeah, I think he's talking about saying yeah to the Aaron Beasley deal. Yeah, he came back and then collapsed. Okay, man, I completely and totally missed that.
Yeah, I gotta go back and watch that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna go to sleep because I'm so excited. I'm so excited that the team came out and ball today. So I'll probably stay up all night and take some notes on what I saw in the game, and I'll look for that. Actually, simply Tommy, do you know about what quarter that was? Was that like around third quarter? Because I want to try to find that, but hopefully he is all right because that would be a huge loss. Timmy G says, think Cooper is the smallest on the O-line. Yeah, you know what?
Right.
Crazy thing is he looks a lot bigger, right? And, obviously he had that surgery and everything, but he looks a lot bigger than he did last year. So hopefully he can kind of learn how to work with his weight just a little bit better. And, he's going to be in better game shape moving forward. But the offensive line just looked way better for sure. Like, there's no doubt about that. No doubt about it. And then let's see here. So Timmy G says, I played high school football with Cooper's dad, Kevin. Hey man, that's what's up. Yeah.
Cool.
Man. It's a small world. And I'm gonna get to a few more chats. Deborah P says, how much do you think Joe thought when this for Hendon played a part tonight? Hendon was there, I think. Yeah, so Hendon was there tonight for sure. I'm sure that played a very big role. And, I think that it played a role for everybody, because I know that I was thinking it. I know P was thinking it, and I'm sure that y'all was thinking the exact same thing. Hendon Hooker is on a Heisman Trophy caliber season. The team is on a national championship, track season. And South Carolina comes in, or we go to South Carolina with some locker room issues. Still don't know all the details with that. But we just lay an absolute and total egg in South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina in that previous week, P, I don't know, you might be able to tell me better, but I want to say that Spencer Rattler only had like 100. It was like 150 yards or something passing. I don't think that they scored an offensive touchdown in the previous week. Yeah. So we came into that game. I mean, of course, thinking back on it, right? We're scoring like at will. Like we feel like we can score on anybody. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't even look at that game like it was going to be anything. And they come in and they spoil the entire season. Obviously, Hendon Hooker, he's straining, is doing everything he can for this team to try to will us to a victory. And he has that horrible injury. And it's unfortunate. We see the same thing again today with Brew. We can even go back to like Marcus Lattimore playing up against us several years ago whenever he had that horrible knee injury. And they keep on saying that was a dirty shot. I don't think that was a dirty shot. But for some reason, man, this game is just turned into I mean, I hate to even put this out there, but like the game, it seems like it's turning to like an injury deal. You know, like some major injuries happening in this game.
Yeah, every year too much.
Yeah, but yeah, I most definitely think that the team was playing 1,000% for Hendon Hooker. You know, I mean, it worked out perfectly for him to be able to come back to this game. So happy to see him, and I'm just happy that we was able to go out and perform well. You know, I feel like we cleaned up a whole lot, and you know, I'm just proud of these guys.
Yeah,
you know, I'm just proud of these guys. But so look, everybody, we've been going for about an hour. But we most definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in, joining into the channel, and we will have some more updates at some point this week. We're gonna go ahead and watch some film, and you know, we'll see what we can pick up. And you know, we've got the bye week, so probably have a whole lot of content coming out, and we'll start to look ahead to Texas A&M, which is I think a very beatable team for us, and y'all should be very, very happy with this Vols team, man. We came out and we took a giant leap forward tonight. And, you know, I know we're super, super proud of them. Brew and everybody else, hope that y'all get better. Timmy G says, go Big Orange. That's 100% right. Simply Tommy says, tackling was 120% better tonight.
Yes.
You on that. But we are going to let y'all get back to y'all's night, and we'll catch y'all later on. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. And we are going to catch y'all at some point later on this week. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Bye-bye.